saying they would want the baby to have, quote, appropriate care, unquote. Joining us now from Washington to react, Republican strategist Kate Obeshane and Fox News analyst Kirsten Powers. So, Powers, as you know, I have predicted that extreme elements in Planned Parenthood and other pro-abortion groups would eventually come to infanticide because they don't see the fetus, the baby, whatever the situation is, as a human being with any rights at all. And now this is proven to come true, has it not?
Well, look, I think, Senator Moynihan, who was the late Senator Moynihan, who was a Democrat, he was pro-abortion rights. He said about late-term abortion, which is what this would be if a baby is surviving an abortion, was infanticide. So, people find that to be sort of an uncomfortable thing to hear. But a baby that is that late in the term and being aborted, yeah, I think it is infanticide. And if it survives, absolutely. If you're going to let it die on the table, I mean, it's outrageous.
Let me ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
This woman obviously was being honest in Florida.
So.
This is what I believe. I don't believe that baby should have any rights at all, even if it's sitting on a table.
Right.
Okay. How can you continue to support Planned Parenthood when this is a person Planned Parenthood has selected as their spokesperson, pays? Now Planned Parenthood is scared and they're backing away. But we all know how extreme some elements in that organization is. So how can you, Kirsten Powers, continue to support it?
Not a huge Planned Parenthood supporter, Bill. I don't, I'm very critical of them. I do support family planning.
But that's a long way from Planned Parenthood and the abortion mills that they've set up.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But they do family planning, so I support that aspect of it. Fine. But I don't, I've been very critical of a lot of positions they've taken, particularly relating to late-term abortion. I think they're extreme.
Now, Kate, you being a Republican and fairly conservative woman, I'm sure you don't have any use for Planned Parenthood at all, correct?
Well, I certainly think that this comes under their purview of family planning, actually. And no, I have no use for that and no use for federal funds. My tax dollars going to something as abhorrent.
And I think that the majority of Factor viewers watching now agree with you that Planned Parenthood, if it wants to operate abortion mills, which is what its primary business is, should do so on their own ticket. All right, raise money, have all your Hollywood friends, have big fundraisers for you, and get off the taxpayer dime, because most Americans are opposed to abortion now. The majority of Americans do not want the procedure. And about 90% of OBGYNs will not perform abortions. Why not? Because it goes against the Hippocratic Oath. These are all facts. All right, so stop taking money from me and from Kirsten Powers and everybody else to form your abortions. Do it on your own. And infanticide is illegal in every country in the world. But here's an interesting question. There are 2 countries that allow infanticide. Do either of you know what the countries are?
Well,
like North Korea and somewhere else terrible.
Do you know, Kate?
We do in certain states. You take Illinois, for an example, and we talk about how fanatical the supporters of killing babies after they're born from botched abortions. But let's keep in mind, our president voted to allow babies to be treated as medical waste.
He has a horrible abortion record, President Obama. Awful. The worst of any American president in history, Bill, if people want to go back and look at it. The 2 countries that allow infanticide are China and India. And it's almost exclusively female babies. Now, it's against the law on the books in those countries, but it isn't enforced. So they basically are, if the baby comes out and it's a girl, they throw it in the Ganges or whatever, and then, nobody does anything.
Bill, they have forced abortions. I mean, they force people to get abortions.
Yes, in China there are forced abortions. But do we, some of these NARAL people and Planned Parenthood people, this is a road we're going down here. And the Tiller thing, the assassinated late-term abortion doctor in Kansas, that was a frightening series of events that happened there. We don't condone, of course, anybody taking, and the guy who killed Tiller is in jail for life. But this is a very disturbing thing in Florida. All right, Kate, I'll give you the last word. Go.
Look, we are down that road. We are already down that road. This is happening. Babies are being born alive after abortions, and they're actually being killed. And in Illinois, these babies were placed in the soiled linen closets and left alone to die.
Yeah,
there were 4 that were born alive in 1 year.
There's a guy on trial in Philadelphia right now for that, and we hope he gets convicted, because he's awful. All right, ladies, thanks very much. As always, directly ahead, how responsible is President Obama for the very high unemployment rate among African Americans? We'll take